All right. Hey, everyone, and welcome back to Happy Hour with HR, a podcast about navigating the corporate space without compromising your wellness. I'm your host, Dr. Mo. And in this video, in which I'm shooting it in my car, I wanted to talk about the restaurant industry. Now, just a little bit of background about myself. I worked in the restaurant industry for maybe about at least a decade now, between 10 to 12 years. Maybe like 10 years. I worked in the restaurant industry, and I have engaged in like different aspects of the restaurant industry. Or like working in a restaurant. I'll just say that. And this last restaurant that I mentioned working in, I was really looking at it from the perspective of like a consultant. Like, even though I was a W-2 employee, and I just did my work, worked in my station, made the food, was, kind to everybody, and just kind of like kept it moving, wasn't trying to make friends, was just really trying to get through the workday. I still had that consultant analytical mind going, and like I just started to like see like different aspects within this particular, I'll just say this kitchen in particular, that I'm like, I can see why people will leave. I can see why restaurants, the two main issues within restaurants is that they have a high turnover rate and they have high food costs. And so I'm like, I can see why. I just start to really understand, why is this thing happening? And because I got my little notepad and whatever. Oh, okay, come on, light. Oh, okay. Y'all know how I can get when it's good lighting and whatnot. Okay, what is this? I really need to understand color theory. Okay, let's keep it like this. Because I feel like my face is a little dark or whatever. Okay. Ooh, now it's causing a little shadow in the bags and the eyes. Okay, how we do this? Okay, focus. Ooh, sorry, attention span of a squirrel. All right, so I kind of like identified like three main categories as to why the restaurant industry has such a high turnover, as well as high food costs. And I feel like they're both related. The first thing that I've noticed is that bad management practices. And by bad management practices, what I'm referring to is lack of systems and lack of expectations. For example, at this restaurant that I was working at, I didn't know what was expected of me when I walked through the door. Like, I knew what was expected of me when it comes to my job. But since this is a made from scratch kitchen, everything in the restaurant for the most part is made from scratch. So that means that you're going to be helping what? Prepping is an all day, everyday thing. And so I finally understood that concept of like made from scratch. Like I got that it meant, things are made within the kitchen, but I didn't understand what was expected of me as somebody who was a cook. And like in another restaurant that I worked at, I would see, prepping for your station, that makes sense. But helping to prep for the rest of the kitchen was just kind of like a foreign concept to me. And so that wasn't clearly explained. What also wasn't clearly explained is that, like any kitchen, if it's at your house or whatever, you need a clean workspace. So cleaning expectations, that was not clearly explained, although in a way it's like common sense, because you don't want to you don't want to cook in a dirty kitchen. When it comes to systems within the kitchen, because the cook is also doing prep and it's an all day thing and orders are coming in all the time, you have to understand how to manage your station, as well as manage how to do the prep. So that requires systems. But there's a lack of systems that I see when I think about past restaurant jobs, and even when I think about this restaurant job. So that's why I say that, just to me, that equates to bad management practices, because management is there to make sure that things are working properly. So, and non-managerial staff are there to execute. Everybody has an execution task, but the main thing that managers are supposed to be doing is to be managing the people and managing the work. And so if you don't have good systems set up or good expectations clearly stated, the people are not being managed well. That means that the resources, the food, all that stuff is not being managed well, which is why I think that equates to bad food, which is why I think that equates to why there's such high food costs, because a lot of food is being wasted because team members don't understand how to really manage the food, because they themselves were not taught by the managers on how to manage and do proper portion controls and doing all this other stuff. Y'all get it. Y'all get it. Y'all follow your, okay, maybe like this. Okay, this is probably a little bit better. Okay. Sorry, y'all. All right. The second thing that I noticed as to why restaurants have high turnover is because they're not seeing the humanity in the team members. When you work in the restaurant industry, and it's kind of like ingrained in you that you as the worker are not important. Everything is about we want to please the guests, having meeting guests high expectations. It's always about the guests, and that isn't bad. But what it starts to become problematic is that when you start to favor and prioritize guests' needs and wants over what your team members need and want, it makes it feel as if they're not important, which again can cause them to act out, which is like taking, maybe taking more food than they are allotted from the restaurant, which can mean not showing up for work because it's like, fuck this job. They don't care about me. Why should I care about them? So it kind of like feeds into that high turnover and high food costs, because you're losing a lot of food because team members are like, well, this company is not going to take care of me, so I need to take care of myself. So let me just take a couple of these pineapples home with me. Let me treat the walk-in, which is like the big refrigerated station or section. Let me treat that as like my little home refrigerator and like take what I need. So it's like, and that kind of equates to another thing too. Like some restaurants, they don't feed their team members. Who is it? Oh, okay. Some restaurants, they don't feed oh, she's so cute little doggy. Some restaurants, they don't feed their team members. And what I mean by that is that they don't give them free shift meals. They literally make them pay for the food. Like, I understand that food costs can be high, but these people are working, standing, probably not even using the bathroom, probably not getting something to drink, working in like various, temperatures, either very cold or very hot or whatever. They're working around fire, sharp objects, and they're doing this with the mentality of you are not more important than the guests. And so, and then on top of that, they are so unimportant that the restaurant won't even feed them. So it's like you constantly are not seeing these team members as humans. Like, we need food to eat. I mean, not to eat, but we need food to work. Like, it literally fuels our body. Another thing too, just going back to that humanity aspect, is that there's strenuous conditions. Like, these people are standing up, hurting their knees, hurting their feet, lifting up heavy objects, working in heat, working with sharp objects, for hours. Like, when you work in the kitchen, you're not sitting down, you're standing up. Even when we do the prep work, we are standing up. And so these are kind of strenuous conditions to be in. Another thing too is that going back to the not seeing the humanity in the team members. Another thing too, when it comes to not seeing the humanity in the team members, is the culture of not being important. It is drilled in restaurant staff members, whether it's front of house, whether it's back of house, that you are not important to this company. What is most important to this company is the client, is the customer. And your job is to make sure that customer is happy, even if it's at the detriment of your own happiness. So when you are constantly being fed that narrative by a company that hired you, what that just reiterates to you is that, like, this company does not care about me. Therefore, I don't care about this company. Another thing, and if I don't care about this company, I don't care if they're losing money, which means that I don't care about high food costs, which means I don't care if they don't have anybody to work that shift. I am not about to show up for this company because this company is not showing up for me. Another thing, the final thing, the third thing is the disconnection from growth. In restaurants, it's very rare that you see a clear path for how somebody can come into this restaurant and actually grow within this restaurant. Like, you can have conversations with people of like a manager, for example, and they say, yeah, I used to be a server, but then I became a manager. But there's not like clear steps or clear benchmarks as to what would make you a good manager. Sometimes it seems as if just longevity at the job might be the thing. Sometimes, a lot of times it can be seen by just how you're able to do your work. But even then, what are the clear markers? At this particular restaurant that I just left, they had expectations around how fast food should be coming out. So I can see that as a benchmarker of, if you're able to get out the food accurately and fast, then that shows that you are growing, that you understand the expectation of the kitchen and all the other stuff. But in other restaurant jobs that I've had, it was kind of like a little loosey-goosey. Like, the expectation was get the food out fast and accurate. But it wasn't, how do you measure fast? And so overall, and that was one of the things that I expressed when I was leaving this job, was that I felt like I saw people in that kitchen that were being given opportunities. And to me, it wasn't like, oh, they don't deserve it, but it was more so, why am I not being given those same opportunities? How are they being allotted opportunities for growth and I am not being allotted those same opportunities? And even then, for example, in this particular kitchen, there's different stations. There's like salad station, there's entree station, there's like a side station, and there is like a barbecue, grill station, and there's prep. In my mind, I'm like, in order for me to be able to, each station requires a different level of leadership. So my mind, I'm like, I need to understand prep so I can understand how the food is made, so I can understand if I ever need anything, what I need to change. So my mind was, do prep, do salads, do entrees, do sides, do grill. Because a lot of people, sides in a way are like the appetizer, so it's like appetizers, that is a very fast-paced type of station. So I need to be able to build up my speed level, and being thrown in that particular fire, I may not, it's like I've already kind of reached like a very high point and I haven't gone through the proper steps. So that was my logic of like, this is how you grow within this kitchen area. But what I was seeing was that people were being thrown in like different stations. I'm like, oh, okay, I don't understand what's going on now. And so I feel like when you have a clear path of how people can grow, it allows them to have a focus point, a focal point of like, this is what I need to do to get here. But if it's kind of like everything's all like loosey goosey, and it's like, if I like you, I will elevate you to a new position. Or if you're doing something that I feel is right, I'll elevate you to a new position. It's kind of confusing to work in that type of work environment. So those are like my top three things as to why I feel as if restaurants have high turnover and high food costs. 1, bad management practices. 2, not seeing the humanity in team members and not prioritizing that. And 3, not having a clear path of growth for team members. So that is it for me. If you have any comments, please leave it in the comment section below. And thank you for watching Happy Hour HR, and I'll see you next time.